Hey, welcome back to another episode of Open Shutter. Another Wednesday, first Wednesday of November, and we have the talented photographer Karishma Singh here with us. We were supposed to actually do this show last week, but my fault. Had some work stuff come up last week, so we're doing it this week. So huge thanks to Karishma for rearranging her schedule to do this. Really appreciate her time, and we're just gonna dive into like her photography, what got her started, what she likes to shoot, favorite photos, favorite places, that type of thing. If you guys have any questions, if you guys got started in photography, have any questions, tips, advice, feel free to ask them in the chat box, and it's going to be a lot of fun. If this is your first time watching this show, Open Shutter is about bringing people that make things together to talk about their journey. You could do photography, you could do video, you could do painting, you could do whatever. As you know, if you make something, love to have you on and chat about what makes you want to make stuff. Because I think, speaking from a personal experience, sometimes you get stuck in your own head, and like hearing someone else talk about their own kind of process, I think it kind of sometimes helps you unlock yourself to like get to like the next level. So that's one of the reasons why I do this, and the other reason is just you get to talk to cool people, especially people that live in your own city. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more future episodes. Lots of great guests coming, and don't want to take up too much of Karishma's time. So maybe for the people that don't know who you are, maybe a quick intro about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hello, everybody. I'm Karishma Singh, and
Yeah.
I'm a newbie-ish sort of photographer.
Mm,
I have been clicking sort of infrequently since the last couple of years. Mostly used my phone for that purpose.
yeah.
But recently, in the last 2 years, especially during the pandemic, I picked up photography as one of the things I got really interested in. My husband kind of really pushed me into it. He was like, "You have a great eye. You can, kind of get it better if you, try to do it much more frequently." So I have been trying to do that, and
Yeah.
it's been so much fun. A lot of learning curves. Been watching a lot of YouTube videos, trying to learn more. Getting into photography books, trying to see how people shoot. Following a lot of pages like yourself just to see what's up, where do people go, what do they have an eye for. So yeah, it's been a fun journey, and I'm hoping to
Yeah.
continue it and polish it a bit more.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think following people is a great way to like learn how people like see shots. Because like I said offline, I think you have a great eye, and I think I always tell this to people. It's like you can have the greatest camera in the world, but if you miss the composition, then you missed the shot, right? It's all about like like even more than half the battle, it's about just the composition. So you already have that. So again, like we said offline, it's just about being consistent, right? Like you just need to like keep working at it, because it's impossible to have like great shots every single time. But the more you do it, like the more you're just gonna get into like a rhythm, just like getting shots that you like and shots that you want to share, right? So
Absolutely. I
yeah,
think the first when I started, I was more into landscape and more
yeah,
like, the natural sort of photography, just looking at sunsets, sunrises, and all of that.
yeah,
Um, so, which I thought, like, I always told myself that, yeah, anybody could click that. Like, okay. But as I think once I started getting more into photography, street photography, which is what I do now primarily, because, you have a lot of objects, there's stuff you could focus on. People have different expressions. So it's a lot more fun to capture.
yeah,
But recently I went to Algonquin just to capture the fall colors. And I
yeah,
thought, yeah, I did, sort of landscape nature photography in the past. So, I could be back at what I was doing. I was so wrong, just because
yeah,
I feel it's harder to find subjects.
yeah,
Um, at least that's what I feel right now. And I think I have a lot to learn in that landscape area now, just because
yeah.
it's like a lot of foliage, but you were like,
You-
okay, so what do I focus on?
exactly. Like what's the focal point?
Yeah.
Right?
So I
Yeah.
don't know. Like I've
Cool. That's
been
true.
reading up. I see a lot of videos for a couple of YouTubers who are like professional photographers, and they do mostly like landscape stuff.
Yeah.
So I always looked at it. I'm like, yeah, that's a good shot. I could click that. But when I actually went outdoors, I'm like, I don't know what to click. Everything's looking the same. What's
Yeah.
what am I gonna do?
Yeah, no, exactly, right? It's easy until you and you think it's easy until you actually have to like drive the car yourself, and it's oh, I don't know how to drive the car, right? So that's what I mean. Like everyone, you know, in these days, like everyone thinks they're a photographer because they have a camera in their phone, right? But when you want to get to like the next level, it's like that's what separates people, right? Is being able to like make a photo when it's not so easy, right? So
Absolutely, yeah. And I think capturing with a phone, you are, you're not, it's like a spur of the moment kind of a thing.
yeah,
You're capturing what you see, but when you're actually into photography, you want to get the framing right. You want to make sure
yeah,
what object you want people to focus on. Then I think that makes a good photo. Like
of course,
having that one subject, or like not like whatever you want to what
yeah,
catches the eye, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely want to improve on landscape for sure, because I had that massive realization in the last couple of weekends.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now I'm
Like,
focusing
how did you? It's like, how did you do this? I don't get it. Like, how did you do it?
absolutely, like I there was a hike and I went up and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get brilliant shots now. It's gonna be all worth it.
Yeah,
And none of them honestly came out what I was
yeah,
expecting. Like, so
yeah.
that is why we won't see any fall photos until now,
Okay.
because I
There's
couldn't find.
there's none going up.
I think I could like scrap a couple, but
Yeah,
yeah, I think it was like, I'm glad I went on the trip, just because I had a good realization that
yeah.
it's not all easy as it looks. Just because
No,
something looks great,
yeah.
it's not something you can capture for sure. Like, I mean, seasoned people can, but yeah, I have a lot to learn.
Yeah, and also those people that make those shots look easy, they've also like worked a bunch of years to make it look easy. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So
And I think the fact that you have to spend time like creating that shot, like a lot of people would go on a hike, and even myself included. I'm not gonna, say to other people, but you want to be there, then you want to take photos, and you want to just, go back, head back, or whatever, just because it's cold, the weather's
yeah,
not,
oh yeah, oh yeah.
So yeah, I went on a very rainy weekend, and I just
Mm,
wanted to go back.
mm.
So I think it's you have to be patient. You have to
Yeah, you
keep
have to
at
be
it.
patient. You do, you do. And I think also at the same time, like just speaking from personal experience, like you also have to like just enjoy the moment too, and not put so much pressure on yourself to get the shot because um you got to have fun at the same time and not like have so much stress
Oh,
of it. Otherwise, it just becomes a job eventually, right? So
oh yeah, oh yeah.
um, that's why like the more that you practice, like just the more of like you're gonna know what's gonna work and what's not gonna work. So you're gonna be more at ease of like actually just enjoying the hike, whatever, and not be so worried about like, oh my god, I gotta get this like right now. It's okay,
Absolutely.
you know.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of learning, especially like s- it's so different with a phone and with a camera. Like
Mhm.
it's a huge learning curve. So you see something on your phone, you're like, yeah, you can click 10 more pictures, and it's all gonna work out. You post it on Instagram, it's all good. But
Yeah,
with your camera, you have to go back, see, frame it up. There's been a lot of times now that I click a picture and I think that, oh, it can be a different frame that puts it into a better perspective, or this is what
yeah,
I want people to see
totally.
in my photo.
Yeah,
um, so I think, yeah, that's something that I really enjoy, because you go ahead and click something, but when you come back, look at your photos with a different perspective, you're like,
yeah,
yeah, this looks much better now, or
yeah.
this is something
It's
I
growth. It's
didn't
growth.
think about when I was clicking it.
Yeah, it's growth. It's learning.
Yeah.
You're just getting better. Of course. I mean, I always I look at photos from last year. It's like I could have done so much better from photos from last year, right? I always like looking back at stuff and say, yeah, I could be better. But that's just like, if you're not thinking to yourself, it can be better, that you're not really growing then, right? Because it's like it should always be better in the
Absolutely.
future, right? Because that's, you just like the skills should be getting better and all that stuff. And like the funny thing is like you're never like done. Like it's never like you're always like improving. You're always like there is no like finish line.
Well, yeah,
It's like,
absolutely. Like, I recently came to know about polarizers. Like,
yeah,
that's a new
sure.
discovery for me. So I was like, oh wow. So now this is something I can incorporate. So for the
Yeah,
next time my photos are gonna be better. I can click better photos of like
totally,
reflections and all of that, and better
totally, totally.
colors. So
100%. Yeah,
there's all.
just using tools, right? Using tools and It's fun though, right? It's fun to like kind of like look back and just see how far you've come and just see like, oh, I've learned all this stuff, and these are all like wins that people should like celebrate and say, yeah, I'm here now. Now I want to get to there, and now like have these kind of like mini goalposts.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like it's very easy to lose motivation and inspiration, and
So easy.
especially if you're just starting out into it, you can
Yeah.
come back and be like, oh, this is not something that I wanted, or even I had that. I'm like, oh, I have imposter syndrome. I don't think I
Oh, we all do.
can.
I do too. Of course,
So
it's weird, but we all, I don't know. It's a weird thing, but it happens to everyone.
yeah,
It's a weird thing though. I don't know why, but it's just it is. It's just part of being a creator, I guess, is just having that. But you just got to push through it, right? And just say, hey, it is what it is, but you just got to push through it.
yeah, absolutely. And maybe it's some other day that it might work out. So yeah, no, definitely, that's something that I'm again learning, because
Yeah,
I did get dejected recently. I was like, no, none of my photos came out fine.
yeah,
But yeah, looking back, I mean, it's been a good journey. I've definitely been learning, and there's a lot more to do.
of course, of
And
course.
yeah,
Yeah, and just being part of groups like Get Out Shoot, like how we kind of know each other, and just like being part of just groups, and you can meet people and you can pick people's brains and make friends and have fun at the same time is a great way just to like just to keep going with it, right? So
oh yeah,
especially post COVID now, right? Like people can just being able to like just have those connections. You're just gonna be able to pick up so much more knowledge and
absolutely. Like knowing about new spots, what people are
totally,
interested in clicking. I mean, there's
totally
so much more than just street or landscape. People do
so
macro,
much.
people do
Yeah.
all the stuff like products,
Oh yeah.
anything, everything.
Oh yeah. People know things like you think you've been to a place 1,000 times, but someone may know something different, or they might see something different. I guess that's the great thing about photography is that you can have 10 people shoot the same thing, but everyone's gonna have a different kind of take on it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
it's like good to have different perspectives. Like you're looking at something and somebody else is looking at the same thing through a different eye, and it's
yeah,
like completely different pictures. And it's the same thing, but they
yeah,
just both
I
look
know.
nice.
Yeah. It's not a math class. Like 1 + 1 equal
I'm
two, right?
glad it's
So
not
I mean,
math class.
I hate math class, so that's why I guess that's why I'm in photography then. So
Right.
yeah, it's like I said, I'll find like the hardest part is just to like keep going, and now we're like coming into winter time soon, so it's going to be even harder to kind of keep going with it. So again, being part of groups, just whatever groups that you belong to or want to join, that's a great way just to like keep the habit of, especially during the winter. And it kind of gets you out of the house during the winter just to see stuff, because things like, especially when in Toronto, when we get all 4 seasons, the same spot looks different each season, right?
Oh
Spring,
yes.
summer, fall, winter, the same spot will look totally different. So you never know what you're gonna get. Even though you shot it in June, it's gonna look
Yes.
different now. It's also gonna look different in February.
No, absolutely. And I would love to come on one of the walks, because I
Yeah.
have been like scouting for that opportunity, but I always seem to miss it. So I'm glad you
Mhm.
sent me the link. So I definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Our group. I mean, there's honestly like a million groups in Toronto. Toronto is just saturated with photo meetups. My advice is just to be in the group that you resonate with, because people join groups for different reasons. And like Get Out Shoot is a very casual, like no judgment. Come with your phone, come with a camera, come with no camera. You just want to go for a walk and make friends. That's cool too. But as long as you're in a group that that can support you, that's all that really matters, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, absolutely. It's all about learning and sharing, and
yeah, because
that's
there's so much BS out there on social media that will stop you from doing whatever it is that we want to do. So you got to make sure that you're in a good spot just to like, hey, this is fun. I can keep doing this.
oh yes,
You
it's
never know
like
what's gonna happen.
talking about social media. Like I am like from my main profile to my photography profile, it's
Yeah.
always so fun looking at my photography profile and the recommendations, because I see a lot of good photographs come in. Whereas now it's just reels and whatever, and I'm like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
I just want
It's
to look
all
at
good.
what people click. It's so nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I
yeah.
know. I know. Are you on Vero?
I've heard of it. I'm not on it. Is it good? Are you on it?
It's the new IG.
So, do you think it's worth it
I
for
don't know. It
photographers to
might
be?
be. It was around like a few years ago, then it disappeared. Now it's back again. So I'm not
Yeah, I
sure.
heard Peter McKinnon kind of.
Yeah, he was promoting it too, and we'll see how long it sticks around. So,
Okay,
but people are on it though.
okay, I might, because I was thinking about it. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel personally, to photographers or non-photographers, like it's just showcasing your art and kind of,
Yeah,
looking at other people's art as well. And I feel Instagram as a media to promote that, it's not doing its job. So yeah,
yeah,
it's like hard to scout for pictures, or that is why I've joined your group, other photography pages that I look at, and just to get more inspiration.
yeah. No, it's. I mean, yeah. I mean, however you can get it is a good way to just a good way to just get ideas.
Okay, that sounds
Yeah,
good. I would do that.
yeah. Maybe this is a good time to show your IG. Maybe for people that don't know, go. I'll show Karishma's IG and go give her a follow.
Thank you.
Karishma takes a photo on Instagram.
Yeah, it was the most.
Hello, I take. Yeah, I like it. It's good.
So see the bio. That is what I was saying. I
And
thought
sometimes people,
I
yeah, it's honest. You're honest.
pictures of places better,
And
but then
sometimes
I was
people.
like, and sometimes people. But now it's more people and less places
So
because
now you gotta like reverse it
so
or
yeah.
something. Yeah, I don't know. Are there any photos that like you like or mean something to you that have a story that kind of jump out to you?
I think with people it's easier to tell a story, and people
Yeah.
can form different stories from their own perspectives.
Mm,
With a landscape, it's you just showcasing how majestic something looks, or how beautiful something is, which is, I feel, again, I'm learning. It's a bit hard to capture,
yeah,
but I'll get there.
I like this photo.
Thank you. It was just
Colors.
downtown. It was. I liked the color palette. Um,
Yes.
this was clicked with the phone though.
Yeah.
It was just. I was out on a nice walk, and this stuck out, the old Volkswagen with how they've designed it. I have seen a lot of other people kick it as well, but I just thought it just made for a good shot.
I love it. Yeah, it's great.
Thank you.
Again, it's all about the eye, right? Just like seeing it there, boom.
Yeah, I mean, I at first I wasn't into a lot of symmetry and how things would align with each other. But I think once I've gotten more into photography and just looking at people's pages, YouTube videos, and all of that, I'm just trying to keep that symmetric. I know rules are meant to be broken.
Of course.
You can have other pictures, but that's what I'm just trying to get
That's
into and
fine.
then go on from there.
Okay. I always follow the rule of does it look cool? Yeah.
Which
Even
is
like this photo here, using the fence as a frame. Exactly.
this was, yeah, like I really liked it, but once I clicked it I was like, are people gonna judge me? But I really
Yeah.
liked it, so I was like,
For what?
I'm just gonna click it anyway.
But judge you for what though?
I don't know, the kind of art that you see as modern art and people are trying to explain it a bit more, but I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know, the frame just looks cool, and
Yeah, you're
it's
using it. You're using it to your advantage. I use fences all the time to do this kind of stuff.
that's nice to hear. That's kind of, I
Yeah,
feel
it makes
appreciated.
it use it instead of like just having it kind of in the way. You're using it more of like it like use it as intentional instead of being like a distraction.
Yeah, no, the guy was around for a long time, so I was like,
Yeah.
might as well. I tried it the other way as well. But I thought at the end this looks better through the reel. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Or 100%. That's what I mean. Like you always look to see if you can use something to your advantage instead of letting it kind of not be your advantage. I mean, fences always work like this anyway, but
yeah,
I
absolutely.
do I do it all the time. But yeah, I like that. Look, is this your cat?
That's my cat. Yeah.
What's your cat's name?
My cat's name is Siri, but not the Apple Siri from the
Really?
computer game Siri. But
Oh,
yeah,
really? Wow, like interesting.
yeah,
Like,
she was catching a bug. She was catching a ladybug. So that was her cat tree. Um,
hmm,
yeah, she makes a lot of pictures. I take her of her, so I might post a few more.
You should make an IG just for your cat.
Everybody keeps on telling me
'Cause,
that. I think I will.
yeah, they get sometimes they get really big.
Yeah.
They try to. It's
Yeah, I
cool.
think I liked the lighting in the first one as well. The
This
picture.
one,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It was
cool.
just the light was falling. Like I really liked it. It was just falling nicely on her face, and it was really subtle and warm. So yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like another photo.
yeah. See, she's always like that. It's like
Yeah, loves the photos.
clickbait, but fine.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, here's some winter shots here.
Yeah, these were all in Kitchener though. I was in Kitchener before. I came here.
Nice. Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, this is all through phone again, and I
Damn.
used to go out on walks, made sure I'm out, and I think this is what started it. This was taken back in 2020, but then
Hmm.
I finally had the courage to make a page for myself and then post pictures. So yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. So that's where it all started, kind of thing.
yeah, this is where it is. So I'm
There you
fairly
go.
new, as you can see.
Nice. That's cool. I dig it. I dig the photo.
Thank you.
Also, what phone do you use?
These were all taken through an iPhone 10 at that time.
Yeah. Shout out iPhone, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I like for phone photography, I usually do use my iPhone, so
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I really like the blue that was on the thin layer of ice that had
Yeah.
frozen. So it looked nice. I mean, it's a bit of like enhancement as well on the color with the
Okay.
Photoshop, but
That's
yeah,
cool.
it looks nice. I
You,
find that a lot of people, when you tell them not photographers, but a lot of non-photographers, if you tell them you edit photos, they're like,
yeah.
oh, so, editing makes it better. I'm like, editing just enhances the photo. It
Yeah.
makes it look
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Yes. You still need the photo there.
That's
Yeah.
what's hard to explain it to people who don't click pictures. I'm not obviously judging people who
Yeah.
click pictures and still don't like it. It's totally their call.
Hmm.
But I have found that as a photographer, using tools like Photoshop, Lightroom, whatever, it just enhances the picture. It just
Of course.
makes makes
Yeah.
you want how you want the photo to look. So it's not bad.
100%. So do you use Photoshop or Lightroom more?
Mostly Lightroom,
Yeah.
just because it's on my phone. Sometimes if I'm editing it, it's
Yep.
much easier to do
Mm.
it. I just transfer over the photos from my camera to my phone,
Yep.
and I do it that way. And especially if I'm posting on IG, like makes it better to just see how it would look like on my phone. Um, but yeah, I'm thinking to. I don't know Photoshop a lot, but I'm thinking to like learn it and get into it as well because I think it
Yeah.
like
If
that.
you have access to it, yeah. There's some really
Yeah.
good what's her name? I follow the account Adobe in a Minute on YouTube.
Oh, I have
All
seen
Adobe
that.
in a Minute. Yeah, he has some really good Photoshop. Like anything Adobe, but he does like for Photoshop, he has some good stuff. For
Okay.
basic, you can learn some really cool stuff. And it's like they're like 2 minute videos. 2 minute videos.
No, it's definitely a good powerful tool that
Oh yeah. I mean,
yeah,
especially if you're paying for it, then yeah.
absolutely. Do you use a lot of like photo editing tools like Lightroom,
Yeah,
Photoshop?
I use everything. Adobe. I use for Lightroom, Photoshop.
So do you find yourself clicking pictures? Do you find yourself using presets more than or do
No,
you
I used to. Yeah, I only use presets if I'm really lazy. But I mean, like sometimes I use presets to see like what it could look like, but
right?
I try to put my own stamp on it.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I did used to use presets a lot. I don't know. To me, it's like presets like they're a good base. Like you could use presets as a base and then edit from that
Yeah.
also. But to me, it's like when you want to edit a photo, it's like you want to edit to like the mood, right? So even like these winter photos, like they're good edits because like it just looks like it's like a cold wintry day. So obviously you don't want to put any like warm tones to it because
Yeah.
that's not gonna make any sense. You want to keep things kind of gray and metallic, just to keep that
Absolutely.
theme in, right? So like that's my advice when people edit photos, like just edit to like the mood.
Yeah,
At least
and
that's
like
what's steering away, right?
absolutely, and like not editing it a lot to make it look super dramatic, which I am
Yeah,
guilty of in the past,
yeah,
and which I have done it.
of
Um,
course.
but now I'm finding myself, clicking more photos and editing them to way they look, or
Yeah,
making it more natural rather than like overexposed or like highly dramatic. I know people like doing that, and if that's their niche, I mean, that's great. But yeah, if I find myself going more towards how it's looking like.
yeah. I mean, honestly, like less is more sometimes, right? Like you don't have to spend hours on a photo. Like sometimes you just make some basic adjustments, and that could be it, and that's all
Yeah,
you pretty much need because that's what it is, right? So
absolutely.
honestly, like the best photos need very little editing, right?
That's what I totally think. And I was just watching a video, and one of the creators was mentioning the same, that if a photo can look as good as if it's in color or black and white, if
Yeah.
it looks great in both, that's a great photo. If you have to
Yeah.
strip off the colors and it looks all right when it's colored, sure, it's a great photo. I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of things people like to do and follow, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, just I mean, again, editing is very personal thing, but just edit to the way that you want it to look and how you want it to feel. Try to tell a story that way. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, editing is a lot of fun. Like some people don't like it, but it's fun though. So you got some fall photos and then right to winter. I like that. That's cool. I like how you
Yeah,
got.
that is, I was just starting out and I didn't have a lot of photos
That's
which
cool.
I thought I could put in.
Yeah,
Then I moved to Toronto, so then there were a couple of shots of the
ah,
city. I got
got
my
it. Got
cat. So see that lighthouse photo, that is the dramatic one, so which I tried editing heavily.
dropping some drama for today. There you go. Good drama.
So
What was going on in that? Was it actually like kind of stormy, or did you just pop the drum?
no, I just bumped up. It
Yeah.
was a bright day outside.
So
I
what do you use, like a filter in the sky to?
Yeah. So again, I just started out, so this was one of the presets that I found.
Mm,
So this made it look really dramatic,
mm,
um, which I thought looked cool at the time. Now looking back at it, I'm like,
yeah.
I made a questionable choice, but okay, it's a learning journey.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not ashamed of it, but okay.
yeah. Maybe you should have like photoshopped like a boat like sinking or something to make it really
If
dramatic.
I was good at it, I would have
Right?
done. That would have been too dramatic.
Too much going on there. But yeah, that's cool. So like, do you miss Kitchener?
It's a quiet town, but honestly, in terms of, if I just talk about street photography, I think Toronto has better and a lot of
Yeah,
options. You could do so much more
for sure.
out here. And anywhere, like all these like these ones are from Quebec, though I had gone on a trip way back
I
in
like this one.
September.
That's cool.
um yeah, liked the fact that even though it was a bit blurry at the end, it just made it look how I was clicking it.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
yeah, and he directly just looked at me. I thought he was just offended I was clicking so many of his pictures, but it
Yeah,
just made for a good shot.
that's funny. Good photo though.
Thank you.
Yeah. Quebec City's nice, eh?
Quebec City is definitely nice. I've
Yeah.
been there a couple of times now.
Yeah,
It just makes for picturesque photos, for the lack of a
yeah,
better
it's a
word.
good spot. Too bad it's so far away, but
I agree.
no. Tourists?
Yeah, tourists were just aligned and the
Funny.
colors were funky. So
That's
yeah, I
funny.
think they were standing in front of an older wall, but they looked like the pink was really standing out. So yeah, I thought it just made that juxtaposition well, but at the end of the day, it's just tourists.
That's nice. Again, it's all about having the eye, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like you said, clicking what you like and making it a good photo. So
totally.
enjoying the
Totally.
process.
So what's your favorite spot in Toronto to shoot then?
I live around the Lakeshore Bathurst area, so I go a lot to the Trillium Park, and
Okay,
that
yeah,
makes for
good
a good
spot.
spot. Like the Coronation Park, the dog parks there, so it's a lot of like good stuff around there. People with their dogs and everything.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
great for
Trillium Park,
sunrise.
yeah, Trillium Park has a good um, like that trail. So good shots of the city if you're up for that. A lot of people jogging, running, tourists. So that
Ontario
makes,
Place.
yeah, yeah, Ontario Place. What about you? Uh, what are
Favorite
your favorite
spot?
spots?
What do I like? Favorite spots in Toronto? Probably for like street stuff. Maybe like Chinatown. We were just there on Sunday doing a Halloween walk, but Chinatown's pretty good for
Oh,
street.
oh yes,
Um, I like doing Casa Loma outside.
for sure. Yes.
There's a really nice staircase there that has a nice view of the skyline if you go up the steps off DuPont or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Evergreen Brickworks. It's a
Yeah,
good
that's a
little
good spot.
area. Distillery District.
Yes, for sure.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but like again, like you live when once you live somewhere, you get sort of like complacent. It's like, oh, I can shoot that tomorrow. I can shoot that because you live here, right? It's not like if you go on vacation somewhere, you'll be shooting like 24 hours a day. It's like
Absolutely.
you're on vacation.
I totally agree with you. That is why my
Of
wall is full of more pictures from Montreal than it's from here because
course, it
you
happens.
go out, you want to click more
Yeah,
pictures.
you're just like you're always looking now because oh, this is so new. This is so exciting.
Yeah.
You know. But again, that's the challenge. Just like kind of keep going with photography, especially in a place where you live. It's like it's so easy just to get like complacent about it. But you need to
No,
find more like
absolutely. But I find that like I tried going to Chinatown and clicking pictures. I think because of a lot of people, and maybe that's where the photography walk would help. I found myself trying to capture a subject, but there were so many subjects in my focus, so I was like,
yeah,
what do I click? So yeah, I think that is something that I could probably
yeah,
learn.
yeah, exactly right. Like it's to me, it's like having like a project or having like even just like having like a 30-minute challenge or just trying to like shoot something. It kind of gives you a focus more instead of kind of like being a little bit all over the place. Having more of like a narrow focus, or maybe you want to get a shot, maybe you want to only shoot macro today, or maybe you only want to shoot like using only one lens or whatever, right? Kind of like
Yeah.
limit your choices just so you have less to like think about.
No, absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah,
And I've been trying to do that as well. Like, you know, clicking something from a different perspective. Like I saw a couple of pictures um, of a famous photographer. I cannot remember his name, which I'm sorry about. But they click pictures from a perspective of a dog, and so there
yeah,
are a lot of shots of people walking down the street where you could see their shoes and all, and
yeah,
it just
exactly.
made up for a great shot.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very, very unique too.
Yes,
That's a pretty unique angle to do.
yeah, yeah, and I tried to do that. I did not get the shot that I wanted,
You didn't
but
get a shot that
yeah,
you're looking for.
for sure. But it's always good to know that that perspective is also there because when you're clicking by yourself day in day out, like you tend to forget like there are other things that you could take inspiration from or
Yeah,
other angles you could shoot from,
yeah, yeah,
which is why photography walks, content, books, whatever people
yeah,
like they should get into.
yeah. No, it's true though, right? Like it's yeah, I'm all about just like doing it too. Like, to me, like from personal experience, like I could watch like a million videos or whatever, but you at some point you have to drive the car yourself. So it's like I just dive in and just see what happens. Like what's the worst thing that can happen, right? So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
it's just I don't know. That's the way that I work is like I just have to like do it and just see like what happens because it's like someone trying to explain me a math problem. It's like let me just try to do it because I don't understand what you're saying.
No, I think whatever approach works for anybody, like at the end of the day, it's the motivation to go out and click pictures. And if you're doing that, like
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I know, right? Like it's and then people always like look at you, it's like, oh, are you a photographer? Like, yeah. A camera in my hand, like, oh, cool. Can you take
Oh,
take photo.
Absolutely.
People,
Especially if you
it's
go to like
funny.
touristy
Oh, it's funny. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh no, sorry. I'm like, especially if you go to like touristy spots, they see you with a camera and they're like, "You can you click a picture?" And there's that pressure to click a good picture of
I
them.
know, right? It's like, oh, can you take a photo? It's like happens to me all the time. Every time I'm out, someone always wants their photo taken. It's like, okay, but like I don't want to do it. Oh, you must be really good. I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like, I don't know. To me, it's like it's always about perception, especially like whenever I'm out and people like, especially in the group, they see like a bunch of people with cameras. It's like, are you guys professional? It's like, I don't know. What do you define as professional? Like, maybe we are, maybe we aren't. But it's like, well, you guys have like big, expensive cameras. Like, how do you know how much these things are? Always about perception, right? Because people just assume that, like, oh, you guys must be really good. It's like, yeah, I guess. But like, I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing because, people always have this perception of connecting gear to like quality, which is probably makes sense. But at the same time, it's like you could also take amazing photos with your phone.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, like circling back to the point, like, if you have a good eye or if you are really, into photography or pursuing it, like you can click good pictures with a phone.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
I know. People always, especially in Toronto, like if we're carrying like tripods and stuff, like this happened over the weekend too. It's like if we're carrying tripods, whatever, like people just automatically think we're doing like work for like commercial purposes. Like, no, we just want a tripod so the camera's not shaking. But they automatically, especially like if you go to like, especially if you go to distillery district or BC place inside, like they will kick you out if they see you with a tripod because they assume that you're gonna sell the photo. Because
Oh,
yeah, it happens all the time. It happened to us on Sunday, and
that's
it's like
interesting.
no, we just want to use a tripod, but they connect tripod with being like professional. It's like tripod's a like it's not a it's a weird
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy in Toronto. Like they'll just kick you out for no like it's so stupid. But anyway,
I
that's what I
do.
mean. Perception is reality for like like they don't it's not like you're a lawyer or a doctor or a judge or whatever. You have to show a piece of paper. It's like it's the wild wild west. Like, are you professional? It's like maybe I don't know.
Yeah, like how do you define professional? Like
So is that
I
your
have a
side
gear.
income, full time income, like freelance? Ways to define it, right? But
Absolutely. Like
I think
I'm not a professional. No,
you
not
know,
at all.
yeah, if you sell a photo tomorrow, maybe you are. You never
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
right?
could
You
be.
could say that you are a published, sold, whatever commercial photographer because you have sold a photo. Like even if you upload your photos to stock and you sell a photo off stock, could you call
Yeah, I
yourself
mean for
professional?
sure, like perception, right? Like that's your
Perception. That's what I
perspective.
mean. Like it's
Yeah.
just like so you need to like find a way just to like kind of keep your mind like straight and just kind of keep going with the process a little bit, right?
Absolutely. No, I
You
totally
know,
agree with that.
yeah. It's fun. Toronto's a weird place for photography because sometimes I'll just like, no, you can't be here. No, you can't be here. It's just private property. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I've found that with like street, it's where do you I know it's a public spot and I can click pictures, but it sometimes gets awkward when the people kind of notice you clicking pictures of them and it's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I was taking the photo like beside you. That's why you need like a big zoom lens, like a 300, just so you can like be a sniper and just snipe them off.
Yeah. So, do you find yourself like if you're taking pictures of people on the street, do you tell them I am taking a picture or
No, because then it doesn't become natural anymore. But
that is my
there's two ways to do it. There's two ways to do it. Like it depends on what you want to do.
yeah.
To me, it's like to me, if you want to do like street, um, you need to have them just in their natural state. So whenever someone comes up to you and say, "Can I take your photo?" Like you're not going to become at ease. It's just a human thing. Like it's just not going to become natural anymore.
Absolutely.
They're just going to have something. So if you want to do street, just get a zoom lens and just snipe them off. The other way to do it is you can do like if you follow the account on Instagram, Humans of New York, you follow
Yeah.
that account on Instagram,
Yeah.
tell a story, right? So the photo backs up the story. So if you go up and talk to these people, ask them questions about who they are, what they're doing in their life, and that way you have a story about them. And they assume that they're gonna be at ease when you ask them, "Can I take your photo?" Because you just spoke to
Right.
them for 5 minutes, and then you could have like a project around it, like a photo essay or a photo series or some sort of photo project that kind of like themes together people that live in Toronto. Maybe it's like people that live in a certain neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's something that ties it together just so it makes sense.
No, that's a
That's
good
when you can
idea.
tie because that's the power of like talking to people beforehand because chances are they'll probably answer your questions. I mean, they'll,
Yeah.
assuming, but yeah, I don't know. To me, it's like asking someone, can I take your photo without asking them anything else? To me, it's like there's no value there because it's like, well, what do you want the photo for? You
Yeah,
know?
no, absolutely. Like I feel that if you ask them, like to your point again, they just become so conscious, and
Yeah, like
the
what do you
moment that you want
want?
to
What's it for?
capture.
Blah blah blah. What? And then it's like, no, no. My name's Paul. I'm doing a photo series around people in this area. I like to. What's your name? Maybe you're doing a photo series on, I don't know, small businesses. Like, what do you do for work? I don't know, something like that, just so they understand like what you're there for,
Yeah,
right?
no,
Because
absolutely.
that's my advice for people that I've had people on this show that we've had a similar conversation about like how do you like what's the ethics around street photography?
Yeah.
Toronto, if there's no expectation of privacy, then it's fair game. So people walking down the street, there's nothing against the law around that.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
that's why like I made sure I did my research on that
yeah,
before I go up and like click pictures, because yeah, it's definitely not fair to them if it's against the law. But again, like if you're out on the street, there's nothing against, and if
yeah.
you like the subject, like I think it's fair game.
Yeah, again, it's all about like what you want to like what's your goal with it? Like what do you want to do? Like what are you hoping to achieve with the photo? I mean, you can get a lot of cool street shots, a lot of
Yeah,
great street photographers in Toronto, and but a lot of times like you don't get the story behind the
yeah,
person. You just get the photo, which is fine, but like if you want to do like a human essay, there's a lot of power to that. I think a lot of people connect with just people's stories, and then oh, there's a photo too, cool. But now you get like I don't know, you get something more out of it. So, but it's
no,
it takes
absolutely.
effort. It takes effort. It takes effort. It takes work, and
I
sometimes
think I have to build up a lot
oh
of courage for that. So
yeah, I
yeah,
mean it's not easy, but I think if you do get a few yeses, if you do get a few hits, I think there's a lot of you could have something really cool in your hands, right? Because maybe that person, maybe you're gonna circle back with that person in 6 months. Who knows what's gonna happen?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's a big city, yet you can bump into people, and it'll just be good to catch up. And I find myself reading a lot of Humans of New York stories because
Yeah,
they're
that
so
account's
gripping.
that account's crazy. Like some
I
of those
love
stories are
that
insane.
account.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's why that account is so like has so much like following behind it because people are just curious. Like, what is that person doing?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the way he tells the story as well, it's
Yeah,
very gripping. Like even I've seen like 11, 12 part stories, and I've read them all, and I waited for them being like, okay, what happened?
yeah,
What happened? I'm very invested in this. What happened?
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. No, it's it's like it, you know, it's no longer about you. It's about them, right? Because we're always out there shooting for ourselves, which is fine. But like, when if you try to go like the Humans of New York route, it's not you. It's not about you anymore. It's about them, right? So you're kind of it's an ego thing, right? So you're putting your ego aside. It's like no, no, no. This is about you. Like I want to hear your story, and for some people that's not easy to do, right? Because like especially in today's world, it's like it's always about me, like likes, followers, etc. And if you're willing to put that aside and go the other route, then um, things could happen because
Yeah,
that's how you separate yourself from a lot of people is like, well, I'm going to go the other route and just say, well,
absolutely.
um,
No,
yeah,
I agree.
I don't know. It's just it's like how do you stand unique in like today's world of just constant
Yeah.
saturation? Like, how are you gonna stand how are you gonna make your mark? How are you going to kind of define like your craft? Like, well, that's a big question, right? So
Absolutely. I think it's about finding your niche as well. Like
oh yeah.
I, for one, haven't found mine.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I think when it really clicks, like whether you like telling stories or whether you want to click like cinematic shots, something that's out of a movie but you can click it in daily life, like I've seen a lot of accounts do that.
Yeah,
And that always like amazes me as well, that I'm like, you click this right out on the street but it just feels like so set up, but yet it's not. I mean,
exactly.
there's art to that. Again, that's their niche, and yeah, it's pretty cool as well.
Yeah, like honestly, like finding niches, it's tough, right? Because I like to shoot everything, so I like that's what I like about just photography is like you don't have to be nailed down to a certain thing, but if you want to be known for something, yeah, it's important to have something that you're known for. So if it's landscape or street or portraits or
Yeah.
cats or whatever, then you can really double down and become like the go-to person for that niche, especially like where you live, because you never know. Because sometimes people may need stuff, and you never know who. Because everyone needs content at some point. Like even if friends, families, you never know. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
I think a lot of people would reach out to photographers for like their wedding photography
Of
or
course.
like
Yeah.
pre-wedding shoots or whatever
Yeah.
that's going on. But yeah, that's also a niche. That's if people like doing that, that's great.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. I mean, it's good to have a niche. It's also good like not to have a niche because at least you can like just do different things.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And I think the process to, maybe if you don't want to find your niche, that's great too. But the process of finding one, you can, step into a variety of things and you can,
That's how
go
you find it
along.
out. Well, that's how you find it out though, because that's how you're gonna know what you like and what you don't like.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Because how else are you gonna know, right? But yeah, I don't know, like what's like, but for people that have just started out or want to start out, like, do you have any advice for people like getting
Um,
going?
Advice, I would just say that firstly, go out and shoot. Like, make it a point that
Yeah,
you could just head out. Um, Oftentimes, when I have talked with friends who are not photographers yet, they look at pictures and they're like, "Wow, that's a great photo. How did you do that?" So I was like, "You have to take a minute to do it. You cannot just like keep on walking and thinking that, yo, I'll just get this into frame and it's gonna work out. You have to take a pause. You have to look at the scene, look at what you're trying to frame, and then go ahead with it, and something will come out of that for sure.
yeah,
um,
like it.
People, and especially for the fact that if you go out with the intent of clicking a good photo for Instagram, I don't think that should be the first thing in your mind.
No,
You want to click something because it looks nice to you, because you do want to keep a memory of that, or it's something you feel would look great or cinematic or
yeah,
whatever.
yes, I like
So
that. I like that.
just taking that moment to see things around you as well. I think a lot of people don't do that because it's a fast world. People are busy. They want to go out. They
Yeah.
just they don't have the time, which I
About
agree with.
documenting. It's about documenting.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just taking a minute to see what you want to do and then clicking
Yeah,
a picture. I think that can make a mediocre photo into a great one, even for people who are just starting out.
yeah, yeah. Because I think a lot of people like either have cameras in their closet they haven't picked up, or they want to start but they don't know where to start. It's like I like your point about not shooting for Instagram or whatever because that never goes well. So
Yeah.
it's important to not because everyone just sees the home runs all the time. Like on social media, it's always like the wins, but you never really see like not like the misses. So um, and I wish people kind of posted more of their misses too because I think it'd be like maybe have like a carousel of like the photos that it took to lead up to like the
Yeah,
home run.
no,
You
that would
got,
be a good
right?
idea.
Then you can understand. It's like, oh, okay, now I see how you did that. Now you have to wait an hour for the whatever to change and blah blah blah. It's okay. So yeah, no, it's good. I don't know. It's like it's not like again like we talked about like perception, right? It's not well, perception is reality. It must be easy. Like you try to do with the false stuff. Okay, it must let me go and do this. I can say, well, it's not.
It's a waiting game. It's a waiting game.
Yeah,
You have
yeah,
to wait, and I mean, I see people getting that perfect shot, or getting an amazing or great shot. I mean, it takes time. They persevered for that shot, and I
yeah.
commend. And to a lot of people, they're like, "Oh yeah, they just click that." No, there's a lot of effort that goes behind that, and that's what I think. Just giving it a bit more time,
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
just to people venturing out, and again, not just for Instagram.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. And you're saying offline that your husband's also a photographer, so you also have like it works because at least you guys can do it together.
Yeah, no, he got me into it, like in the
Yeah,
sense of
yeah.
he pushed me, saying that no, you have a good eye, you should get into it, and I was like, okay, I'll try,
It's
and
good.
that's
It's
how
good
I
to have your partner into the same thing because it's like, oh, are we done yet? Are we going yet? Like you don't have that.
got it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think a lot of people face that, especially if one partner, if you're going
yeah,
out with your significant other, and they're
yeah,
like, because I know it takes time to click a picture. So if somebody's rushing me, then you're like, I'll
yeah.
just go on my own. It's fine.
Yeah, I know. It's like less stress. Like I just do this on my own. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's good. I mean, it's also more fun to do it too. Go out together, take some shots.
Yeah, like we also click pictures of the same thing, sometimes from different perspectives. If
Yeah,
one of the
interesting.
others pictures come out good, so we're like, okay,
Oh,
you can post it. Yours is a better
oh
perspective.
yeah. You go home and you guys look at each other's photos. Like, oh, okay, you post that one, I post that one. That's
Yeah,
fun.
it's also good to, like, once you go out and click a picture, you look at it on your viewfinder and you're like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's looking great. You come back home and you're like, oh, it's an okay photo.
yeah,
But I then show it to my husband and he's like, no, it's a great photo. Or like, if it's a photo which I wasn't thinking would come out that great, and he puts it into perspective. So
yeah.
yeah, it's good to have someone like that around, and who can
You get,
also see the pictures and be like, from that different eye.
yeah, yeah. You get some sort of like honest feedback too,
Absolutely,
which
yeah.
is important too, right? Yeah, like that's fun. That's fun. So like what are your plans for the winter? Like, do you have any plans for the winter for photography specifically?
Not specifically, no. I would love to come on the walk and
Come
see,
on a walk. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
goal.
what other people are clicking.
Yeah,
The last time I clicked a lot of calm, serene, gloomy winter photos. I would like to see what people do. Are
okay.
there any different perspectives? Are they clicking
Yeah, yeah,
brighter, warmer, sunnier winter pictures, or
yeah,
whatever they like? So it would be just good to know
got it,
um,
got it, got
what
it.
people like doing.
Yeah, I like doing a lot of like in the wintertime, like minimalism. I like doing minimalism a lot. You
That's
get
good.
like, yeah, I don't know. To me, it's like it just screams winter, especially if you put it in
I
the black
think
and
it's the
white.
weather for that.
I gotta go somewhere warm soon, so
Me too. I totally agree with
right, right.
you.
Um, yeah, wintertime I like doing like a lot of black and white stuff. To be honest with you,
Oh, that's nice. That's a good.
what else do I like doing in the wintertime?
I think a lot of people also would like to do like Christmassy stuff. So a lot of,
Yeah, the Christmas. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Do that. What else do I like doing? What else do I like doing in the wintertime? I don't know. Maybe if there's like a blizzard, maybe go out during the because honestly, like if like bad weather always makes for good photos.
yeah, I think that's what
Always,
I've seen.
always
Yeah.
rains like blizzard. Like you always get, especially like a blizzard. Like you go down like downtown, like people are just like miserable. Like they got the umbrellas, they're all
And the
broken. You get
jackets
some
on.
blizzard effect, yeah, stuff like that, or like an empty street or something. It looks like a scene from like I Am Legend or something. But yeah, drama, bad weather always makes for good photos.
Yeah, no, that's a good perspective. I
Yeah,
because I have always been clicking in winters like the more stoic, calm photos after the snow has settled down and there's like that
yeah, yeah.
peacefulness to it. But no, the I
During,
like the
during.
perspective as well.
Yeah, yeah. Get the drama. You get the pain in people's faces. Like, oh my god, here we go again. Sometimes you get some cool stuff. But
Which defines winter, especially here.
wow, yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do, right? Or you get like the TTC streetcar or something, like
Yeah,
against like the white snow or something. Get the red against that, red against the white, stuff like that.
absolutely.
Um, yeah, you gotta come out for a walk and meet some people. And it's a good way to learn
I would
stuff.
love to. Yes, for sure. I'll take you up on that offer.
There you go. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. we're almost up against the hour. So, do you have any final thoughts for viewers, listeners?
No, I mean, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for having me on here. It
Yeah,
was really
my pleasure.
fun chatting with you and getting to know your perspective, sharing mine.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'm just on my journey as a
yeah,
professional or as an amateur. I don't
yeah.
know, but
Who
getting
knows?
there and learning, which I'm, glad for. And I really like it as a hobby. Like, I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah,
It's,
fine.
yeah,
Well, that's what's the point.
absolutely. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Yeah, thanks again for taking the time, and maybe we'll have you back on at some other point. Maybe you've sold some stuff. Who never know in this crazy
Absolutely.
world.
That would be crazy. But yeah,
I'm just saying, if you go to like put some stuff up on stock, you never know what can sell.
I could do that.
But,
Sounds good.
yeah, thanks again. Go check out Karishma on Instagram. Karishma takes a photo. Go check it out, give her a follow. And yeah, thanks for watching, listening. If you're on YouTube or on Spotify or wherever this podcast is these days, it's everywhere. And thanks again. And we'll see you next week for another special guest. Have a great evening.